Own Way, the podcast with me, your host, Kori McClurg. All right, today on Get Out of Your Own Way, we're going to talk about liminal thoughts that are killing you. They are keeping you fat, they're keeping you sick, and they're getting in the way of your progress. So let's break it down. First of all, reminder, what is liminal? So liminal is like subconscious, under the surface, thoughts that you believe without really even thinking about it. These are the hidden forces that are keeping you just trapped in an unhealthy body. And you might say, oh, whatever, I don't think that. But really, just like pay a little attention. Awareness is what's going to be required to be conscious enough to know if, these things are just rolling around in your head. I can't tell you how much we spend of our lives sort of unconscious, right? Like we're awake, we're walking around, but we're not really conscious of what's going on in our head. And all of that is for good reason, right? We evolved to process information quickly. We are constantly absorbing information, and your brain is just doing this automatic filtering and triaging of all this information. And it happens for good reason, for us to be able to, find what's the immediate threat, like, what's going to keep us alive in these in every moment. So it happens for good reason. But in this environment, right, in our modern environment, it's not helping us to go through life sort of unconscious and not even really knowing what's going on. We're absorbing this information, we're making judgments, we have information sort of imprinted on us when we're young, and we're not aware of it, right? It's just still sitting in there. So even if you're sort of skeptical, like, oh no, I know exactly everything that's going on in my brain, or, oh no, I don't really think these thoughts, challenge yourself a little bit with that and discover what is really happening. And it's probably going to be very context dependent. So while you're sitting quietly in your office, you might be fine. But once you get out in the world interacting with people, these hidden thoughts are going to get triggered. So this is when you got to be paying attention to know that it's happening, to understand what the context is and how it is causing these kind of hidden beliefs to take effect. And why is this important, right? When we feel two ways about something, it's never going to work. So yeah, you might want to be healthy, lose weight, get rid of your diabetes, get rid of your heart disease, etc. But you also have these reasons to keep doing what you're doing, which is where these liminal thoughts come in. These reasons for doing what you're doing are these thoughts that you're probably not even thinking about consciously. But until you overcome and change these liminal thoughts, you're going to be stuck. There's no way around it. You're not going to willpower and brute force your way into decades of healthy life. You have to change your brain. That's the bottom line. You have to change your brain. There's no other way around it. So what are the biggest categories, the four major areas of liminal thoughts that are keeping you stuck? First of all, one that is pervasive, you think that you're fundamentally different from healthy people. You think that either you're broken, you don't have any willpower, you think you have bad genes, you think that you're just somehow different, like physiologically, like somehow the vast amounts of research don't apply to me. It's something on that order of you are somehow different from healthy people. So until you dig into that and really bring that to the surface, you're going to stay stuck. Now, we'll talk about in a second about what you do about these thoughts. I can tell you right now, it's not true. There's nothing fundamentally different about you from a healthy person, from somebody who has, embraced a healthy lifestyle and they are going out feeling good about themselves, feeling good in their body. They're at a healthy body weight. You're not fundamentally different from them. So we're going to talk about, after we go through the thoughts, we're going to talk about how we change these thoughts. All right. That's the big liminal thought number one, that you're fundamentally different, which you're not, but we'll talk about that in a second. The second big area, liminal thought that is keeping you trapped. You are worried about what other people will think. Either you're worried about what they'll think from your results of you making healthy changes, or you're worried about what they will think from your healthier actions, while you're making changes. So you'll think something like, oh, if I take this too far, if I'm too extreme, what will they think about me? Or if I make them feel bad because I'm healthier, how's that gonna, what are they gonna think about me? How's that relationship gonna be impacted? What if they judge me or, tease me, make fun of me, whatever? Like, those interactions could be uncomfortable. Like, it's all kind of tied up in this worry about what other people are going to think. So a few questions to ask yourself here, right? One, getting in touch with that feeling that you're worried about what other people will think. And I'm going to tell you a little subcategory of this that's like this nasty, vicious cycle, is we are worried about what other people think, but we are judging ourselves for worrying about what other people will think. So we won't even admit that we're worried about what other people think. And here's a classic one. It's only some people that you are worried about what they think. So, it's like your immediate family. You're worried about what they're going to think because, God forbid you do your thing and, it changes the dynamic of that relationship. So there's going to be a lot, potentially contextually, there's going to be a lot of subtleness to it. And there's going to be a lot of, oh, surely I'm not the kind of person who is worried about what other people think. Like, the first step is this awareness and acceptance. If you're not doing that, you're not getting aware of this liminal thought, you're never going to do anything about it. Finally, or thirdly, you secretly hope that your bad habits are healthy. So you're wishing for magic, right? You are just, even though you have all this data that shows that what you're doing now isn't working, you are still hoping that there's some kind of magic. So what does that look like? Well, you look for reinforcement in the media, in YouTube, in social media, whatever. And so you're looking for these places that are going to tell you that what you're doing is okay, even though you have your own data, right, to show that what you're doing is not okay. So that's 3. It's the wishing for magic, liminal thought. Finally, the fourth big area of liminal thoughts that are keeping you stuck are, you're just afraid. It shows up as, oh, I won't have any fun. if I'm healthy. Oh, I deserve a treat. But really what this boils down to, what these liminal thoughts, they come up as these other things, these, I won't have any fun, I deserve a treat, whatever. But really what it boils down to is you're really afraid of giving up your drug of choice. Like, and look, there's nothing, no judgment on you for that, right? Your brain is freaking doing backflips to keep this crap in your life. It will do anything to prove you right, to prove that what you are doing is right, and it's going to do anything it can to keep your drug of choice nearby, right? So just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it. That's all you got to do. That's the first thing is, okay, I am afraid. I am afraid that I'm not gonna have any fun. I am afraid that, that I think I deserve a treat. But really what that is boils down to, I'm afraid of not having this substance near me, around me. All right. So we've got these 4 areas of liminal thoughts. So what do you do about it? So first of all, we got to accept that we have to start working on the liminal thoughts to be able to change our behavior. You're not just going to say, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to have my drug of choice near me anymore. Right? How many people have tried that? How many people have thrown out the crap and somehow a couple months later the crap is back? Right? How many people have woken up with a hangover and said, oh my God, I'm never drinking again? And then, 3 days later, you're back out at happy hour. So willpower in your way isn't going to work because you still got 2 minds about it. You got the mind that says, I want to be healthy. I don't want to feel like crap anymore. But then you have all these liminal thoughts, right, that are arguing against it. So what do? You got to change the liminal thought. So there's no conflict. There can be no conflict, right? So you take the liminal thought. You say, okay, let's take one. Let's say from number 1, that you think that you are fundamentally different from healthy people. You break that, you get it articulated. In what way do you think that you are fundamentally different from healthy people? Write it down. Articulate it for yourself. In what way do you think that that is true? Then you start questioning that. There's a couple of techniques for doing that. There's a technique called awareness, clarity, turnaround. And there's another technique called the work by Byron Katie. I highly recommend getting this book called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. It will walk you through the work. The idea is that you're looking at this thought that you have uncovered now. You've got it down on paper right in front of you. And you say, is that really true? Is that totally true? Is it completely true? Right? When you ask yourself, is that totally, completely true? You'll find, no, it's not totally, completely true. Right? So you're going to start turning that around. And before you even start turning it around, get even further clear on it. How does it make you feel to think that way? By and large, all of these liminal thoughts make you feel like crap to think that way. It's in no way. It makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel, disempowered. It makes you feel ashamed. It makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel, like a victim. Generally, nothing good is coming out of these liminal thoughts, right? So get really clear on that, like what it is and how it's making you feel. Then we want to start turning it around and saying, okay, what is something that is a way more empowering thought than what I just had? So when you turn that around, look, you're not gonna like in one fell swoop, for the most part, one fell swoop, you're not gonna just be like, oh yay, it's magical. Yeah, I believe, 180 degrees out from what this liminal thought is. That's not gonna happen. But what is the next step? What's a thing that you can turn around that is true? So like if I say, I'm worried that what other people will think of me, I'm worried that Aunt Carol is going to be offended if I say no to what, she cooks at Sunday dinner. Okay. Is she really going to think ill of you? Or, could you, is there a way for you to mitigate her being offended? Or is there a way that that perhaps she loves you and wants better for you and she might understand? Or like if you feel that you are fundamentally different. And in what way are you fundamentally different? Well, I think that I just can't conjure the willpower and to make any changes in my life. And everybody else that is healthy has willpower. Okay. How does that make you feel? Makes me feel like crap, makes me feel like a victim, makes me feel like I, I'm helpless. Yeah. Makes me feel like all that. Okay, so what's an empowering thing to think? Um, well, it's not that I don't have any willpower. I have made some changes in the past. I changed, I started flossing my teeth. Uh, that required a little more discipline and putting a sticky note on my mirror at night. But eventually I'm in the habit. I floss my teeth every night. So it doesn't have to be this drastic change. Like you're just demonstrating to yourself that this liminal thought is not completely true. That there's an alternative to this thought. And once you bring it to light, then it makes it so much easier to start addressing it. I I don't even know where I heard this, but shame lives in the dark, and it does once you put light on it, it can't live anymore. So bring these thoughts to light and look at them, examine them. Is it really true? It's not really true. But that's the first step. You gotta bring them to light. You gotta get real. That's the first thing. You gotta stop wandering around like just unconscious through life. If you want to change, it's going to take work. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing fun about really examining what's going on in your brain. But it's not the work that you think it is. It's not running a marathon, and it's not, pumping out 200 push-ups and doing, 3 sessions of cardio a day. That's not the work that is required for you to make fundamental changes. So, dig into those liminal thoughts. Look, examine them. Do the act, do the work, and you'll bust through these these roadblocks just continually, one after one. Just get really conscious about it and get out of your own way.